G'day guys, m8t5 here, and today I'll be reviewing Wolf Creek 2. So Wolf Creek 2 is an Australian horror thriller film which is co-written and directed by Greg McLean. And it tells the story of a serial killer that wanders the Australian outback, kidnapping tourists and doing whatever he wants with them that mostly results in their death. So this is of course a sequel to Wolf Creek that was released back in 2005, which was mainly a dark and violent horror film that took the genre quite seriously. The thing that makes these films so unique is the antagonist, who goes by the name of Mick Taylor, who at first seems like a regular Aussie fellow that just happens to be a hunter, and yet this may be true, it is just a way to charm tourists into his web of torture, mind games and death. This character is actually based off some real-life serial killers that did similar deeds in Australia, but he doesn't represent an exact one, but instead is mostly influenced by these real-life events. So John Jarratt owns this role. He is Mick Taylor, and brings a lot of unique qualities to this character that I haven't seen before. He can be charming in an Aussie pig shooter kind of way, but incredibly dark while also making fun of the situation. He is a very bad man, but at the same time you can't help but hate him and love him, especially in this sequel. In my opinion, I feel that this sequel is actually a different breed from the first film, where the first film was more of a dark and gritty horror film, but this sequel, it feels more of a thriller than a horror, and it can even make you nervously chuckle every now and then. I mean, sure, there are still the same scenes where he's murdering people in the most gruesome way possible, but other times, I don't know, there's a funniness to it. It's a very different film, but don't be fooled, it is still quite serious, thrilling, and gruesomely disturbing. Ryan Corr plays as Paul, the victim of this film, and we follow him as he's being pursued by Mick, and not to put it lightly, this is one of my favourite cat and mouse films, and it also happens to be Australian. I thought the acting all around is excellent, but nothing can beat John Jarratt's performance. I even read that apparently he spent days on his own in the outback without showering to prepare for this role, and it paid off big time as he is one of my favourite serial killers ever. This film took me completely by surprise, and it managed to satisfy all of the needs that I enjoy in my gruesome horror thriller films, and then some. Violent sniping, torture scenes, and car chase sequences that don't feel cheap but are actually very well done and entertaining, and even a psychological mind game. This film has it all. At times I was even chuckling at scenes I probably wasn't supposed to. Usually it mixed random dialogue, but at the same time he strikes me as deadly and terrifying. I don't know how he does it. So I feel as if you get everything out of this film. You get a likable and terrifying antagonist, brutal and gruesome scenes, exciting car chases, and scenes that you aren't likely to expect but love. Greg McLean is now turning out to be one of my favourite Australian directors, as he has also directed the first film and the killer crocodile movie Rogue, which is another of his films I love. So I'm going to go ahead and give Wolf Creek 2 an outstanding 10 out of 10. This is quite an achievement for an Australian film. This film took me completely by surprise and is one hell of an entertaining Australian film, with one of the best antagonists in recent history. You should definitely give this film a go. If you enjoyed the first film, you should definitely enjoy this film, even if it takes a bit of a genre change out of the horror category and more into the entertaining thriller ride. Also, I wanted to mention that there is actually two versions of this film, the cut DVD version and the uncut gruesome Blu-ray version, which shows a lot more close-up violence that even shocked me for a second viewing. So there is a version for the weak of heart and there's a version for the ghouls out there like me. So did you guys like Wolf Creek 2? Did you think it was an entertaining thriller ride, especially for an Australian film? And if you have any questions about the film, remember to leave me a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And if you like this review, remember to like me on Facebook or subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to see more. And thank you very much for watching my review. This is one of my favourite Australian films and I wanted to share it all for you. You know, because it might have been one you missed or you might not have considered. So I hope you go and watch it and I hope you enjoy it. m8t5's bloody out here.